You would think that changing to remote work really isn't that hard, right? You're still doing the same work. You're still using the same platforms and softwares that you were using already. It's just you're not in the same area as your coworkers. You're simply at home. Why is it so much harder to get people engaged over the phone, on virtual meetings? Why is it harder to hold people accountable and make sure that the same productivity is maintained? It really shouldn't be that hard, should it? That's exactly what we're going to cover in today's video. Hey everyone, Kyle Crooke here again with Milestones Company. This is the second video in our 4-part series titled Working From Home 101. In our first video, we talked about setting the stage for remote work. As an HR professional, once you do transition not only yourself but also your employees to remote work, it's critical from a setting the stage perspective to make sure that there's alignment on collaborative working hours, that there's boundaries set and expectations set on productivity gaps, at least in the short term, as well as on aligning on non-working hours. And the third component of it was not only communicating proactively, but also communicating wisely and transparently in order to solve and mitigate problems, especially in a decentralized virtual environment. Building on setting that stage, what we're going to focus on today as an HR professional is being the change. Now, the questions that I asked at the beginning of the video, why it's so challenging to transition to remote work, why principles and habits in the brick and mortar and the physical office place, if you will, are so much different than working remotely. Why is that change so difficult? Why is it tough to re-engage people virtually? Well, it all stems from you as an HR professional on being that change for people. So now let's go ahead and dive in so that not only will you have your answers to those questions, but more importantly, you won't have to ask yourself those questions since it'll already be widespread throughout not only your particular business unit and your employees, but hopefully throughout your organization on the power of being, embracing the change, and ultimately on engaging your employees virtually. Now, the number one key in being that change, especially from a servant leadership perspective, it's very simple, but it ain't easy. It's pretty much showing your face and literally being the face of that change on every single collaborative measure, on every single meeting that you have. Whether you're using Zoom, Skype, WebEx, Microsoft Teams, it's imperative as an HR professional to engage with your people to do what I'm doing right now, is to be on video with them. You can't imagine how many calls that I've been on, and I'm sure you've been on, where everyone is on a WebEx or a Zoom call, nobody's showing their face. You can see people muting in, muting out. You can see that a lot of people simply aren't responding to any of the ideas or any of the questions that are being asked. Well, it's because people aren't engaged. When you yourself are being the face and you're actually engaging with people and taking that first step by showing your face, if you will, you're automatically igniting the rule of reciprocity in which people will either be more engaged while they're on the phone or they'll reciprocate it back by being engaged on video as well, especially if you open up any meeting or really any collaborative session with, well, I'm showing myself. I would really love to see everyone else's smiling faces. So if you can, please go ahead and join. And you'll see from there that it may take a while, it may take a couple weeks, but if you keep showing up and being persistent with that, you'll see an automatic increase in people's engagement levels, not just with you in the meetings themselves, but also on all types of conference calls that they'll be on throughout their work day to day, week to week. Now, the second component of being the change is actively reaching out to your employees. It's very easy in a decentralized virtual environment to be very hands-off. And yes, it is great to empower your employees, but also they have so many things going on in their own lives with repositioning their work, different things in their personal life, that really just being that change and picking up the phone, or better yet, setting up a direct one-on-one video call with them just to have a checkup, not to talk about anything work-related, incentive-related, but just to talk about themselves for 5 or 10 minutes is a true, genuine individual engagement that goes a step above showing your face to the group. It's showing your face and ultimately your heart to your employee one-on-one, and that's going to manifest in ways that you can't even imagine for weeks and months to come. So we talked about two very critical components of being the change. First is showing up and showing yourself to your employees throughout the different collaborative softwares and tools. And second, of individually engaging them one-on-one. Now, the third and an extremely critical component of being the change is being receptive to feedback. It's very easy to be in authoritative mode when it comes to remote work and want to shovel out orders, and this is how this workflow needs to be done and managed. But the truth of the matter is, with your employees working decentralized, working in different time zones potentially, or just working on different projects at different times, you have to be really flexible and dynamic with how they work. And if you're being the change, that's great. But if it's a change that's not the best change for your people, it's ultimately not going to work. And being on video with them, talking to them one-on-one, it's not going to matter if you're not being adaptable and flexible to what meaningful change is to your employees. So setting up calls and just setting up feedback loops, whether it's through surveys, through the one-on-one video calls, or even just in group meetings, to say, hey, this is the change that I'm embracing. Has it worked for you? Has it not worked? What are you experiencing on the ground floor that is a change that is going to work really well for you and your colleagues? Asking those types of questions is going to allow you to be the truest, most meaningful form of change in the remote work environment. So again, I know I talked a lot there, was really passionate about this subject. The three key components to keep in mind is essentially it all really comes down to being engaging yourself and being that change for others, but in three particular components. First, opening yourself up and therefore others to video engagement and have that personal touch. Second, to dive deeper into that personal touch and apply it to one-on-one discussions. And third, which is extremely crucial, is being adaptive to change that is good, change that is bad, and reworking it so that it works not only for you as an HR professional, but most importantly for your employees. And when you adapt your change to the feedback that your employees give you, it helps with their buy-in, and it's going to come full circle in being re-engaged with the change that you're embracing and being able to return the favor on video calls, conference calls, for them being more involved and collaborative during those. Again, my name is Kyle Crooke. I'm with Milestones Company. It was great to talk with you today specifically about being the change for your people. I'm really excited next week to talk to you about our next topic. I'm going to keep it hidden for now, but please stay tuned, and we're going to talk about it soon. See you later.